morning, guys. Hey, I haven't done this for a while either, so welcome to Kim's Walk Talk. Walk and talk. They're like, gosh, you like listening to yourself talk a lot. Well, hey, it's my Facebook page, so don't like it, scroll on. Good morning. I am out here walking, and I hate it. Absolutely loathe walking. But that's why I get on here, start talking, to get my mind off of it. So please forgive me if my breathing gets kind of erratic sometimes. I'm a fat old lady who's trying to work on herself. So anyway, I digress. I just wanted to share with you guys a story or two while I walked. I thought that would be kind of fun. I was just sitting here, there's so many goes through my mind. It's so funny how your mind does that, right? It's like it cannot keep one thought together some days because of stress. Other days, I just let my mind wander. But as I got up, and I'm still drinking my coffee, waking up too, by the way, I thought I would share a funny story that happened to me growing up as a kid. I was a teenager, I wasn't a kid, but it's still funny. My friend Carla Nelson. Hey Carla, if you ever watch this, you could attest to this because this was a hilarious night. So, I grew up in the country in Wyoming. There's only 500,000 people. I think it's still that way. There's more pronghorn antelope than there are people in the whole state. So I feel like I grew up very blessed. But coming with that as a teenager is horrible. It's horrible because I always lived out of town, like miles and miles out of town. And so when I lived in Casper, I lived out in the country, clear out on Poison Spider Road. And if anybody who's watching this knows how far that is, my dad used to work for an oil company, a small independent. He was a contractor, and the house was with the job. So we were out, I don't remember, Mom might correct me on the miles, 25, 30 miles out of town. Well, we were out there, and I'd have a friend stay over, and my dad had this big shop that, good morning, had this big shop that set down from the house. It had all his work vehicles in it and different things, tools, things like that, but we had a pool table down there. So my excuse when I had my friends over is we'd go down and say, we're going to go down and play pool in the shop. So we'd go down there, but just to get away from the house and get on the phones. When that was back when, you had to do star 86 or whatever, so they blocked that, so they couldn't do a trace on where the calls come from. And me and my friend Tammy, I'm getting kind of sidetracked here though, and different friends, we'd get on there and we'd do the old phone, the whole prank calling, things that teens do, Wilson Mortuary, you stab them, we slab them kind of stuff. Look for funny names in the phone book, just awful things. Prank calls boys that we thought were cute or assholes, depending on what mood we were in, just a bunch of different stuff. And play pranks. Sorry, guys. We were one of those kids that parents hated. Anyway, I digress on that. I was 16. At the time I was dating a boy he was 19. Maybe he was 18. He was 19. He had been held back and was still a senior. Let's put it that way. And so I thought I was big shit for dating somebody older. You know how girls like to go for the older boys at that age. And my friend Carla was dating a kid in her class. Well, we lived way out in the country, and we had no way to sneak out. I mean, it wasn't like sneaking out and going to a local house because there was no houses around. So we made the phone call to have somebody pick us up. And this is like November, December. I can't remember. It was winter time at the bottom of my parents' lane, so they wouldn't see the car lights, which is a mile away, by the way. You had to walk down this hill, and it came to a blacktop little one-lane road that came to a dirt road, and that was the main road, basically, that took you to town. So me and my friend, we had this all planned out. We were going to sneak out and go joyriding and just hang out with the boyfriends, right? So we snuck out of the house, told my mom, yeah, Mom, we'll just go down and play pool in the shop. And so they thought nothing of it. Shoot, we were out in the middle of nowhere, right? Anyway, so this is where the little fun psychic stuff comes in as a kid, that you're like, oh shit, you know, back then, if I would have known the shit I know now. Anyway, this might get a little noisy up here because they're doing the yards up here, guys, so bear with me when we go by. You can hear it already, the weed whackers. Anyway, so we start out the house and we start to hike down the hill, and I'm a klutz. I am the clumsiest person you'll ever meet. I trip over my own shadow, just saying, even back then. So I had my shoes untied and we're walking, we're trying to sneak out, being all quiet, and we're giggling and acting like girls that age do. And we're trying to get out of there, and I'm trotting along down the hill, and I trip over my own feet and I take a big old tumble. And all I remember is knocking myself out. And anyway, as I'm going under, the song by Chicago, Stay the Night. Do you guys remember that song, Stay the Night? With Chicago. Stay the night. Anyway, it came popping into my head. And I'm like, oh, that was clear as a bell. So when I came to, she's like laughing, asking me if I'm all right. And I'm like, yeah, why? She goes, sound like you're choking on your tongue. She goes, it freaked me out. So she's laughing. I said, well, it was really weird because I didn't know I knocked out. All I knew is all I could hear was the song Stay the Night, and by Chicago. So we laugh and we get down to the bottom, and our ride is waiting down there. He clicks on his lights, we jump in. We're laughing, having the best time, just, you know, thinking we got away with something. So we drive, and Casper Mountain's a big mountain that sets up outside of Casper, Wyoming. And I was like, well, where should we go? Because we're young, we don't get in trouble for cruising around. You know, it's 11 midnight. You know, we don't want to get in trouble for being out or somebody seeing us. So Andy, bless his soul, he's passed away now, takes us up, drives us up on the mountain. We decide, oh, let's go up to Crimson Dawn. Crimson Dawn, for those who don't know, who's not local, is a place, there's some grave markers up there. And the whole folklore, they do all this stuff up there on certain times of the year because there's some witches. They're witches, and there's poetry on their grave. And so, of course, you know, the folklore and the legends, everybody's creeped out about these witches that lived up on the mountain. Don't disturb their graves. But they had like a fairy walk through there, and they had poetry written on their grave markers. And now looking back, it was very sweet. They were very earthy witches, right? Just enjoying the mountain and being left alone. But as kids, we thought, ooh, that's scary. Let's go visit the witches' graves, you know, in the middle of the night. Let's go do it. So we start up there, and we get up on top, and this is the middle of winter, and there's like several feet of snow. And remember, we snuck out. There's several feet of snow, and guys, I'm gonna flip my phone around if it'll let me. There. So there's several feet of snow, and we're driving around in this Toyota truck, and it's got big tires on it, and it's jacked up a little bit, so we think we're fine, right? Going across these snowmobile trails that we shouldn't be on in a pickup, being stupid like kids do. And oh my goodness, all four tires just drop, boom. And it was right after we had been by this place where the witches, and we're like, ooh, we need to get out of here. So we're already heightened with the idea that we were in an area we weren't supposed to be, up on Crimson Dawn. Now there are people that snowmobile up there. There are people who live up there, but this is dead of winter. Right before it happened, we came around a corner and saw a vehicle, and somebody's head popped up in it, and they were staring at us like we woke them up. There was somebody sleeping in a vehicle up there in the dead winter. And as kids, we flipped out like, oh oh my God, we got to get out of here. Da, 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 da. And so we turn the corner, and guess what? Pop. All 4 tires sink into the snow, and we are stuck. We are so stuck. We are high-centered stuck on the mountain. Sorry, guys. Hold on a second. I love our HOA, though. They stay up with the yards here. I love it. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying the view, too. So there, his head pops up. We go around the corner, not very far, not even, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile, and we get stuck. And we're like, oh shit, there's some weird guy up here. We're stuck. We can't get out. Oh my God. We're miles and miles from anybody in the house. It's the middle of winter. What are we going to do? And right then on the radio comes the song by Chicago, Stay the Night. Carla and I just look at each other. Our eyes got big as saucers, like, oh shit. Guys who are psychic, that's a warning. When stuff like that happens, that was something that I should have paid attention to. I missed my cues because I was a dumbass kid who's out to have a good time. So we were like, oh my God, oh my God. So everybody was like laughing about that, going, oh shit, we were scared. So anyway, we get out of the truck. We can't do nothing about it. We are so screwed. I know I'm going to get so in trouble because I'm not going to get back and home in time. They're going to find out that we snuck out. Da 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 da. Well, just our luck would have it. And this is another thing that happens with me. I sometimes fall in shit and come out smelling like a rose. Just saying. I have some good luck too. I might be clumsy, but I have some good luck. I can manifest some good stuff. And so around comes a snowmobiler riding out there at midnight snow riding under the moonlight. It's like, oh, we flag him down. They're like, what are you guys doing up here? And they give my boyfriend Andy a ride down to use the phone. And he calls his dad or his uncle or somebody because he's of age and he's not going to get in trouble. Us girls are the ones who are going to get in trouble. And so he is able to get another vehicle and he takes us home. Then they go up and they spend the night getting his truck out. We get in at 5 a.m. and the sun's just coming up kind of like this because it was actually, sun wasn't even up because it was winter. I take that back. But we get up and we get there like 5 a.m. and we're like, oh shit, what a night. All night long trying to get home. And it wasn't as fun as we thought it was going to be, but quite the experience. I'm coming up the driveway, we're going to sneak into the garage where the pool table is and pretend we fell asleep down there playing pool. And who's outside? My brother Clint. He sees us and he knows what we did. So what does he do? He's like, you owe me one. Yeah, like I have to cover for him next time. So he kept my secret, but then he had something to hold over me. But boys and girls, we got through that one. It was years later when I knew my mom couldn't ground me that I told her what happened, and she just shook her head because I was a handful. I was a true handful. So Carla, if you're listening to this, do you remember that story? Oh my God, wasn't that a crazy night? These memories, they're teen memories growing up as a Gen X. I wouldn't trade them for the world. But I think it's interesting now looking back and knowing my abilities the way they were back then and now, and how I was always didn't know what to do with it. You get stuff like that, you guys. Pay attention to your gut. I know kids, you could tell them all day long, your teens, to do that, but they're more likely aren't going to listen to it anyway. But we're safe. And I just had to share that story with you to help my walk go quicker. I might do these walk and talks periodically, telling stories and just talking about stuff. Helps me, you guys. My body hurts all the time. My feet hurt so bad I couldn't even walk yesterday because I walked the day before. I have a lot of stenosis, arthritis, fibromyalgia, chronic pain, migraines, a bunch of stuff. And just getting out and walking is supposed to be really good for me, but it's extremely hard. So I appreciate you guys being with me on this leg of the walk. And I hope that you like the view as we walk. And I hope you don't mind the stories. If you like the stories and you want to hear some of the crazy mishaps I did growing up, or learn more about me, or just want to hear me talk, I know, why would I want to listen to you talk? I can get enough of that from this person or that person. Just let me know. Shoot, say something in the comments. It's just kind of, I need the social interaction, to be honest with you. I was going to be doing my podcast with my friend Brooke, but I felt really awkward. I'm not gonna lie, being on a podcast like that, and so I am probably gonna pull away from that. I know you're like, well, you can talk on here. Why can't you talk on there? I don't know what it is. I can't explain what it was. I can just tell you that I love interviewing and hearing the stories of people on podcasts, but she doesn't need me to do that. She can do that all by herself or with another guest. I think she'll do great, but I figure time and now and then I'll come on here and do stuff like this, and you guys can keep me company. Let me know your thoughts.